The most highly anticipated film of 1954, Bones, features two of Tinseltown's most beloved stars, the beautiful and talented Emily Deschanel and the leading man, David Boreanaz. They're celebrating their 10th film together in 10 years, which means a decade of joy for America.
The 200th episode is a completely different kind of episode of Bones. It is as if it's a movie from the 1950s.
It's not time to celebrate yet, Booth.
I thought the concept a really fun idea. It was something that was really different.
It was so great actually sort of doing research and watching all these amazing old films.
I think it's always great to shake up an episode. I mean, we get so caught up doing a procedural.
They're trying to frame me for Eva Braga's murder.
Well, that's a frightful inconvenience. It was great to get to work with David directing and be a part of something that was so epic and special, and we're proud of it, really proud of it.
Now I know why you got suspended. They're all jealous of you.
Bones made it to 200 episodes and beyond because of the fans, and the 200th episode was truly like a love letter to the fans.
We were always hoping to come back for another season. Then we got a 2-season pickup, and then we realized, oh, we're gonna be here for a long, long time. To this day, I mean, I can't believe we actually did it.
We all just had a really good time. It was so cool to see everybody in this world that David and everybody else created. It was really cool.
Was there a moment where you thought, did this show have a shot? Yeah, I mean, I think that first episode that aired and the fans, turned out. We kind of thought, oh, wow, we have a group of people that are actually going to want to tune into us each week and listen to us talk. I actually remember vividly a moment when we had only done like a week on the show at that point, and Eric Milligan said, oh, this show's going to go for 100 episodes. And we were like, we'll be lucky if our pilot gets picked up. Eric was right. ×2.
It's the tortoise and the hare, you know, slow and steady. The audience came to us and never left. We never imagined we would get to 200 episodes. I mean, that's 10 years. That just doesn't happen.
I've been doing this a long time, and I've never been in a situation even remotely like this.
It's just kind of inconceivable, and I barely understand it myself. Be in that club of few shows that have been able to do that.
You show them you're as good as any guy in here, and you do it for all of us girls.
The 200th episode was so beautifully done. I think it was so refreshing for all of us to do something so different, and yet still true to the voice of the show and characters.
Temperance Brennan, LAPD.
The production design, the costume design, and the music.
Once Stephen Nathan, who runs the show as a writer, as a showrunner, started talking to us about making it a 1950s movie, I was absolutely on board. I love that idea.
It really had to be worth it. I mean, the fans have been so dedicated. We wanted to give them something that was unique. And it was at that point I thought, well, Booth and Brennan are totally Cary Grant and Grace Kelly. So let's do a 1955 Technicolor Hitchcock version of Bones.
You're a thief, aren't you? Let's see how good you are.
It just evolved from there, and it was more fun than I could possibly imagine.
You should be a lot nicer to your partner, you know?
We're not partners.
I wanted to make it Bones and not Bones. I wanted their characters to essentially be the same, and to see Booth and Brennan meet and fall in love again. We even had the birth of forensic anthropology.
Miss Brennan's theory is brilliant. If we look at these remains as if they were dinosaurs, then we should be able to determine what happened to this poor woman.
And then to take all of the other characters and give them that same kind of twist. You know, Cam, who calls all the shots, is calling all the shots, but now is a criminal.
Bad move, chump.
John Boyd, a little bit wacky, doesn't really care about rules and regulations. That character was the same.
Seriously, old sport?
We kind of had everyone do their characters through the looking glass, if you will. Even Caroline.
You need another scotch.
A double.
All of those things gave us a way of seeing the show in a new way.
What a dream as an actor to get to do that, to get a script and you're like, I'm Wendell, but I'm not really Wendell, but it's sort of similar to him, and same with everybody else.
They wrote so well for the actors' strengths, you know, they know them so well. So it was really fun to watch everyone on the show just sort of pop into these different roles.
The production designer, the musicians, the costume people, the DP, everybody just went, all right, let's go for it. And The work they did was, oh my God, it was spectacular.
Start the plane! Start the plane!
Normally we have an 8-day prep period. This was weeks because everyone did tremendous research. The production designer, Val Witt, he reimagined the apartment so that it looked really like a 50s house.
No one will ever suspect you're hiding out at my place. They transformed the FBI, for instance, into the LAPD office.
You always knew that it was a familiar location, but it was different.
It's like having a pretty shiny new toy. It was such a beautiful lab, and it's so different than what he has now, all modern and slick, you know.
In our hair department and our makeup department were unbelievable. It was just a really collaborative episode, and I think one where the crew really got to shine. I mean, they always do, but I was really blown away.
Bring me the dress. The woman only wore the latest fashions.
It was really fun to see different vintage looks for the costumes, just all the amazing colors they used.
Well, to create this episode, we started with the overall look, and they wanted like Technicolor movies of the 50s. So we started looking at vintage clothing stores. We started looking at all the rental houses. It was great.
We have such beautiful people on our show, and to see them in these 50s outfits, I mean, oh my God, it was fantastic.
It was just the authenticity of it, the whole thing, is that we really went for it in that episode.
Yeah, the costume department's fantastic. I mean, Cam looked like she was from that era. Everyone did. It was fantastic.
It made our job so much easier. You know, you put on those clothes and you walk on that set. It just comes, you know, they make it really easy for us.
The thing, though, about it was finding the right tonality, because I was basically able to play a mad scientist in the 1950s, and I was like, can I go really far with this? But David was great at kind of keeping us to a certain tone, so that was very helpful.
With David, you're just lucky when he directs an episode, because he adds so much more than you could imagine. And he really brought this thing to life.
You're gonna make me blush.
It was a massive, massive episode with lots of locations, a huge nightclub sequence with music and dancing and chases. And I mean, he did a really remarkable job.
And seeing it all cut together, I was like, oh my gosh, not only did everybody do a great job, but the tone was right.
The challenges in this episode were the size of it, the scope of the episode. It was, you know, the plane sequence was huge. There were so many different elements. There were units of an aerial shoot in which they shot background plates for visual effects to be used inside the plane. So putting it all together, that was a big challenge, but it was a lot of fun because it was so much different than anything we usually do.
Sean Callery, who does our music, went berserk and just did a gorgeous score. I mean, just absolutely beautiful, reminiscent of Bernard Herrmann and the score for To Catch a Thief. It was great.
From the color of it, from the acting, it feels like something completely different, and it was a fun thing to put together.
You solved the case, Detective.
And now we're going to die.
Oh no, I would never let that happen.
Our goal was to do something as convincing as we could do as a 1950s Technicolor movie, and I think everyone did a great job delivering that.
You got what you wanted. You're a detective now with a Medal of Honor to boot.
You write something, and you hope it's going to be much more than you could ever have imagined, and that's what happened with this episode.
I'm so proud of our team for getting this far, and I'm truly proud of the fans for getting us here. Thank you all so, so much.
My last question is if you had to come up with a premise for a 300th episode.
Oh my God. God, 300th episode. I think you can just kind of hand the show to like Michael Vincent and Christine, the baby's version of Bones.
Oh my God. If Michael Vincent's like doing an internship, if he's like a squintern, would probably be the storyline.
Maybe jump into some space travel or something in the future there.
There's a murder at a treadmill store, and Aubrey buys one and brings it to the FBI. Aubrey goes on a health kick.
I'll be happy that we've made it to 200 and not be greedy and think that we'll make it to 300. How about that?